This video is sponsored by East Coast Sports Investors. With over 30 years of experience, East Coast Sports Investors is here to help you build your confidence and your investment. Join the East Coast Sports Investors family today. What's going on, you guys? Sports Owner Diesel back at you here, and today we're going to be talking about the Eastern Conference Finals preview between the number 2 seed, the Boston Celtics, and the number 8 seed, the Miami Heat. Let's get down to the matchup, starting off with Jason Tatum against Jimmy Butler. There's a clear difference between these two players right now when we look at the playoff scenario and how both of these players have played in the playoffs. Jason Tatum has been playing like a prima donna the whole entire playoffs. The funny thing about Jason Tatum is he can get whatever he wants whenever he wants. He continuously settles for the 3 ball. He continuously complains about calls. Stop complaining. Stop settling for the 3 ball. Get to the rim. Get to the free throw line. And that's what gets him successful. Facilitate. Make the other people around you better. That's something that Jimmy Butler is doing right now as we speak with the Miami Heat. He has just had the killer instinct. He has had a completely different mindset, and he's ready to go from the jump in this series. This guy makes everyone around him better. He continuously encourages his guys to shoot the basketball if they're wide open, and he's giving them the confidence. So it's two different mindsets here going into this series between the top 2 players. Moving on to the next matchup, the Celtics consistency. This is something that's going to be key throughout the entirety of this series because the Celtics continuously have lapses in concentration. They need to take every opponent seriously. We saw that in the Atlanta series, having a chance to close it out in 5 games, get some much-needed rest. Did not happen. Atlanta forces a Game 6 without DeJounte Murray. Then you have an Embiid-less Philadelphia 76ers team in Game 1 of the Eastern Conference semis. And what happens? James Harden goes off for 45 points, and they take Game 1 in Boston. The same thing is on the verge of happening here with the Boston Celtics here against the Miami Heat. Right now, they are 8-point favorites. Boston has lost 25 games this year when they are a 5-point favorite or better. It's ridiculous how bad Boston is when they're more than a 5-point favorite. Overall, Miami, holy moly, man, this team is ready to go. They're not your typical 8 seed. They have an identity. Boston's identity right now is just being consistent on the offensive end of the basketball and being consistent on the defensive end of the basketball, because defensively, Boston's given up a lot of points. And last year around this time, they were barely giving up 108, 109 points per 100 possessions, which was best in the NBA throughout the last 30 games of regular season and throughout the entirety of last year's playoffs. So Boston's consistency is going to be key in this matchup. Also, by the way, this is the 3rd time Boston and Miami have met in the conference finals in the last 4 seasons. First time they met was in 2020 in the bubble year. Miami, we knew, were the better team in that series, even though Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown were on the up and coming in 2020. Then you had last year's Eastern Conference Finals where, once again, Miami ran out of gas at the end of the tank in Game 7. Jimmy Butler had a chance to tie the game with just under a minute to play in Game 7, misses it, and Boston sneaks out with a Game 7 victory on the road, and Miami goes to the NBA Finals. And here we are again for the 3rd time. As Jimmy Butler said, I'm back. And they play hard, and I'm telling you right now, Miami will not go away. If Boston has a 10, 15, 20-point lead, Miami, they stay the course. They do not fold under pressure, and they find a way to stay in ball games, and they capitalize on your mistakes. And now we go to X factors. Yes, Bam Adebayo's one. Bam Adebayo clearly needs to be the number 2 player on the Miami Heat in this series. He needs to be putting up double-doubles every game this series. He needs to be facilitating. We know what Bam brings with his versatility on the defensive end, his ability to guard the 1 through 5 position. We know what he brings to the table. But the other X factor is the supporting cast of both teams. Which supporting cast is going to show up in this series? I mean, I have the slight edge to Miami in this series just because of the consistency of Miami and the mentality and the identity, the established identity that they have. Whereas Boston right now, they just seem to be in shambles right now, and they're trying to still figure it out. And this is not the time of year in the season to be figuring it out, especially in the postseason. So But when we come down to the prediction, this series is going 7 games. I really do think this is going 7 games again. I have Boston in 7. Again, the only difference is Boston will be at home for Game 7 compared to last year where they had to win it on the road in Game 7. I just don't want to pick the Boston Celtics in this series, to be personally honest, because of their lack of consistency. Jason Tatum playing like a prima donna, and there's no clear identity on both sides of the basketball. But I'm going to stick with the Celtics because they are the better overall team. The Celtics should have no problem expressing their superiority in this series. They should have no issues with that, but they are going to have issues with that if they continue to go down the road that they're going down and not taking their opponents seriously. But with that being said, thank you guys so much for your time. If you guys haven't already, please leave a like and a subscribe to the channel. I can't wait to see all your faces in the next one. Deuces.